Hi and welcome to Let's Create. Today we are going to be making these, which are water bombs. So rather than using water balloons that you throw and burst and you end up with lots of bits of plastic all over the pavement or grass, or in my case you forget to clear it up, leave it 2 days, then it's baked onto your decking, we use these. Great alternative to using a disposable plastic item like the balloons. My kids are only young, so they do like these. Older kids, maybe not so much, but they're worth a try. You can also, anything, wet sponges or whatever. But these are a bit more fun and they look a bit like a balloon. So they're a great alternative. All you need is crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm, even though the yarn itself suggests a 6. It's more for a blanket. This lovely blanket yarn. This is just one that I got out of Aldi actually, but I've also made some others using King Cole Yummy. As you can see, it suggests 6mm for knitting, but I've gone with a 5. Maybe I crochet loosely, I'm not sure. And that makes these lovely patterns. So any fluffy wool, any fluffy blanket yarn will do the job. Might just give you different sizes as well, depending on the hook that you use. Your scissors for cutting off your ends. Quite a wide-eyed needle for sewing in at the end. You'll only have one end to sew in, which is always good. Scissors, I haven't got my little ones, so I'm using these. And then optional is stitch marker. I don't tend to use one with these purely because there's not very many stitches to count, so it's easier just to count them. Now there's 2 ways that you can start this. You can either chain 4, join and crochet into the centre, or you can do a magic circle, which is what I prefer. I have found though on the King Cole yarn, it's quite hard to do the magic circle because as you go to pull it tight, it snaps or bits of fluff come off. So magic circle, how I do it, get your 2 fingers over the back, around the front, turn your fingers and then cross over. So you've got a cross. Under the front one, pick up the back one, and then you want to grab the long piece of yarn, not the small tail. Tie it like that. So that's now your circle. And you're going to work into this centre. Your small end, work over that as you go, and then you won't have to sew it in. I'm going to start by doing 6 single crochets, K-terms or double crochet in the US. Go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1. And again, through the loop, through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, that's 2. So you want another 4 of these, so you've got 6 altogether. So that's 3. 4, 5, and 6. So again, double check if you want. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then get your short tail and pull. Pull it closed. Now, a lot of patterns when you're working in the round, it will say to slip stitch and then chain 1 and continue. It's easy just to work in the round. There's not much to count and you can't see where the rounds start and finish then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go straight working into that one. Make sure you're catching both loops of your V stitch. And we're now going to increase, so we want 12 in this row. So to do that, we're going to put 2 single crochet, double in the US, into each stitch. So you can either put your stitch marker in this first one, so you would yarn over and pull through. So if I was using a stitch marker, I always find it easier to put it in the first stitch of your row, and then you work all the way around, and when you get to that, you know that's your last one. So we're going to do 12. So I want to go back into the same hole again. That's 2. To your next one. 3. into the same hole again, 4, there's your next one, 5, 6, get it stuck, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So I'm going to take out your stitch marker. I'm probably not going to use that again though. So then we want to go from 12 to 18. So to do that, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then repeat that all the way around. So I'm getting a bit tangled there. That's 1. You can if you want as well, it doesn't really matter which way around you do it. You can do 2 in the first and then a single. I just prefer doing it this way. So that's 1 in there. So we're going to do 2 into the next stitch. 2. Same stitch again. That's 3. 4. 5. Same again. 6. 7, 8, same again, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, so the last stitch is going to have 2 in it, 17, 18. So if you start with a single crochet in your first stitch and then you're doing 2 in the next one, you will always end on a double. If you're ever unsure, just go back and count how many you've got. So count the V's. Pull it out so I can show you. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and the last one is just there, 18. Okay, so this is our last increase now. Now we want to increase from 18 to 24. So the pattern for this one is going to be single crochet, and then an increase, so 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And that will give us 24. So again, you can either put a stitch marker in your first single crochet, or you can just count all the way around, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll quickly get round to 24, show you what to do in the next round. If you need to, pause the video and press play when you're ready, and you've got your 24 stitches. So 1, 2, 2 in the next stitch, 3 and 4. So 2 singles, so 1 in that one, 4, so that's 5, 1 in the next, 6, and then 2 in the next, 7, 8, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, same stitch, 24. So again, we're not slip stitching and chaining one or anything, we're just going to go straight into the next one. So for the next 3 rounds, rounds 6, 7 and 8, you're just going to do 1 single crochet into each of the chain, into each stitch, sorry. So that'll be 24. So rounds 6, 7 and 8, you're just going to do 24 stitches. So rather than pause, edit the video, I'll just do those quickly now. If you need to, if you're not quite crocheting as fast, then feel free to pause the video and catch me back up shortly. So 1, 2, then after those I'll be showing you how to decrease. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll catch you back up in a moment. It's just on the last two now. 23, 24. Now at the beginning we worked in our tail end. If you didn't work it all in, usually I would continue to work it in on rounds 2, well, on the first round and round 2. If you didn't, now is the time that you need to weave in the end. So you do is go up and over a few stitches. You're just sort of weaving, and then go back on yourself to do it again. If you worked it in, great. If you didn't, just weave it in and then you can just cut that loose. The reason I say to do it from now is because we'll now be decreasing, so it'll be very hard to get back into the centre. I'm now going to start making it smaller so that we can get to this point here. So to do that, it's basically working the pattern again but in reverse. So rather than doing 2 single crochets and an increase, we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease. So I'll do 1. Pop a little stitch marker in there. So that's, we know that there is going to be our last stitch. So that's 1, 2. Now then to decrease, I pretty much always just decrease this same way. There are other ways you can do it. You can either go under both loops, but I tend to just go under the front one, a bit neater. So to decrease, you see how you've got the V, you only want to catch this first half of the stitch. So you're going to go under, and then I'm going to go the next stitch, I'm going to do the same again. So I've now got the front loops of both of those stitches on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through both, and then finish the stitch as you usually would. So that's 1 decrease. So I've now got 3 stitches instead of 4. And we're going to take this down to 18. It's going to do the same all the way around. So you're going to do single crochet, getting both loops as you normally do, single crochet, and then single crochet 2 together. So under the front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and finish. Again, single, single, single crochet, 2 together. 1, 2, 2 together. Front loops, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So, nearly back at the beginning. I'll just quickly finish that off because I'm going to do another decrease. It can be a little bit tricky with the fluffy wool to see the stitches clearly. So a stitch marker may be helpful for you. So we should end on a decrease. That's how you know you've got the right amount. Front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So if you needed to double check, you can go back and count your V's, make sure that you've got 18. So on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And obviously that'll be the next one, 18. Okay, so we now want to go from 18 down to 12. So if you haven't guessed it already, rather than doing single crochet increase, is we're going to do the opposite. We're going to decrease. So single crochet, it's our first stitch, and then a decrease. So again, front loop, pull through those 2 front loops, and then yarn over, pull through. So that's 2. So if you're not using a stitch marker, and this is the easiest way to count it, so that's now 2 stitches. So I'm going to go 3, under, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 4. Remember, we only want to get to 12 on this row. So that's 5, 6, so this should always be on an even number, your decreases, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and as you can see that hole is now getting smaller at the top. That's why it's important to weave in your ends beforehand. So now we want to go down from 12 to 6. So the way we increased at the beginning was 2 single crochets in every stitch to get from 6 to 12. So we want to do the opposite to get back down to 6. That means we're going to single crochet 2 together in each stitch, and this will be our last decrease round. It does get trickier as it gets smaller. So we're going to decrease in every stitch now. So, struggling there. So that's 1. So we're only counting to 6 this time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Quite tight to get your hook round. And 6. So that's our next stitch. So to make this part, it's going to kick back out so it looks a bit like a balloon, is we're now going to go straight back to increasing in every stitch. That'll take us back from 6 up to 12. So that means doing 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that's 2. Next stitch there. That's 3. And then into the same stitch again. 4, 5, 6, 7, same stitch again, 8, 9, 10, oops, there it is, 11 and 12. So now we've got 12, see it's lying a little bit flatter again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's how you know you're going back into that one, not back into this one here. Give you an odd stitch count. So if you're ever unsure which one is your first stitch, the easiest way, if you've not used a stitch marker, is to count backwards to 12. And you know that's your first stitch. So usually when we're making the ball, we go from 2 stitches in every stitch, 2 single crochets in each stitch. Then the next round, you only do it in every other. To make this kick out a bit more and do the flare like a balloon, we're going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch again, and that will give us 24. So just make sure you're going into the stitch and not into that gap there. So that's 1, 2, and then the same again all the way around. 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm going a bit quickly, feel free to pause the video while you catch up. It can be tricky, this stuff. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, halfway, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, nearly there, 22, 23, 24, and that is your balloon now finished. So you've got the shape. Then all you need to do is You can slip stitch into your next stitch. So we've finished there. Get your next stitch, which is this one here. And we're just going to slip stitch. You're just going to put your hook through the next stitch. Pull your yarn through. And we're not going to yarn over this time to slip stitch. We're just going to pull it straight through that loop there. And to make it easy to tie off fuzz fabric, I just like to chain one. Hold that there. Get your scissors. You usually find cutting just after my little finger where I've held it is plenty for weaving the ending. So now you've got that tail, and because you've done the chain one, if you then pull your hook out with the yarn, pull that tight, that's now tied off, and just using, this is why you need quite a big eye on your needle, because this stuff is quite chunky. I mean, you could obviously use any yarn, any chunky yarn, but I just find with this fluffy stuff, it holds a bit more water for splatting people with. And it's also softer when you get hit with it, which is important for my two kids because they do tend to lob them at each other. Oops. So we're just going to weave in the end again. Weave it in a couple of times. There we go, that's done. And there you have it. Cut off your long end. And then all you need is a bucket of water. Pop those in, they'll soak up the water and throw them at each other. So that's a dead quick, easy make in under half an hour. Great for using up left up bits of blanket yarn if you've made fluffy blankets for the winter. And there you go. There is a written pattern available on Etsy. It's just £1. Just if you prefer following a written pattern or written instruction, it is available for you, and that does help fund more projects for me to show you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to see if you make any of these yourself. I do have a Facebook page as well. I'll pop the link in the description box. Find me on Facebook at Let's Create a Gift. Or you can also join our eco group on Facebook as well. We are Eco Collective. I'll pop a link to that in the description box as well. And there's also the WordPress blog page as well. I'll pop all the links in there and where you can buy these things. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the sunshine and get a chance to use them. Thanks, bye.